What's going on, everybody? Welcome to Let's Talk Sports. I'm Cole.
I'm Joe,
And
you
this
heard?
And this is episode 3 of Let's Talk Sports. Like always, we got a jam-packed episode for you. We're going to roll right into the NFL games. Before we even get to it, though, we had our predictions from last episode. We have our record for the week. I went 5-9. Not a good week for me. And my predictions, Joe went 8-6. So he had everything for the most part. Got over a 500 record for it. We're going to keep up with these, and we'll look at the total at the end of the season. But for now, we'll just go week to week. So this week, Joe got the win in NFL games. Do you have anything to say about your predictions?
Not really. Some good football this weekend, but there was some teams that should have won that did win, and my picks clearly show that.
All right, let's go. So, we already talked about the Thursday night game. We're just going to look at a few highlights. First one off the top, out of this list right here, we're going to talk about 2 of these games. I'll talk about the Dolphins-Chiefs game. You can talk about the Vikings-Falcons, about mainly the big news of what happened in the game. So Dolphins-Chiefs game in Germany. They played at 9:30 Eastern time in America. And, if there's one thing I can say about this season so far, the Chiefs 7-2, Dolphins 6-3. It's probably one of the best games that there have been in another country. Like, they've had games in London, I know in Mexico. This is probably the best matchup if you look at all of the international games that you would have. But the one thing I can say about the Chiefs, and I know a lot of people give them hate, that's more towards the offensive side. What people can't argue with is their defense has actually been really good this season. And the one thing about the Chiefs in the past years that they've been in the Super Bowl or made a run at it is what let them down was their defense. And everyone knows how Miami's offense has been doing, and to hold them to 14 points says a lot. We'll just quickly look at some stats. The main thing, like I said, and offensively, you're not going to see anything pop out by the Kansas City Chiefs. But, Tua didn't throw any picks, but the main thing was he didn't have over 200 passing yards. They literally held Tyreek and Jalen Waddle to 104 total yards. 11 catches off of 16 targets.
Tua also only had 1 touchdown.
Who?
Tua?
Yeah, he threw it to Cedric Wilson. Raheem Mostert, he still ran the ball fine, but they're not. I said it last week that the only way, because I picked Miami to win, Joe picked the Chiefs, but I said for Miami to win, they'd have to run the ball. But because they don't have A-Chain still, the rookie from A&M, him and Mostert are like 2 tandems. You'd say thunder and lightning, but both of them are fast, just like Waddle and Tyreek. So, but Mostert, he can only do so much. Waddle had a carry. It was probably, I think it was a jet or an end around.
It was an end around.
But Achmed's their next one. He was a starter for the Dolphins last year. That just lets you know they had, a rookie and then Mostert that they brought in.
And for him, only had 3 carries for 4 yards. That's...
Well, it also shows you how much they ran the ball when really they wanted to run it more.
Yeah.
Then on the Chiefs side, Mahomes didn't even throw for over 200 yards because the defense did so much. He got 2 touchdown passes, and I know they weren't to Travis Kelce. Travis Kelce got held to 3 catches and 14 yards. That was the Dolphins' main focus, and it worked.
Which was surprising because Taylor was there.
Yeah, and so now ESPN can't run with that,
Exactly.
Which is so funny. But the main thing about this is none of these pop out to you. This is all. That's why it was under 200 yards, because this is all 3 for 34, 2 for 33, 2 and 22 with the touchdown, 2 and 22. He's
very consistent.
He spread the ball out a lot, and then running the ball. Pacheco, like I said, the best running back in the game was Mostert, and they lost. It's just props to the Chiefs' defense. That's the main thing for me. But we'll back out of that game, and we'll talk about the game that I think was just the craziest news.
I wouldn't really go as far as the craziest news, but it is it puts a smile on your face. Because this guy has been bounced around the league on 4 teams, I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong. I think 4.
Yeah, it's either 3 or 4.
4. I want to say 4. And just has never been really given that long-term shot. And his name's Josh Dobbs. And, he came from Arizona. They had their rookie started yesterday.
Yep, Jaren Hall.
Sunday. And then I believe they're going to have Murray starting this week.
Oh, you're talking about Arizona had the... Yeah.
I think they're going
Carson Toon was his name. I don't know if he was a rookie or not, but I know he's the one who started. But now Kyler is confirmed to come back for Arizona.
Yeah, I think he's been cleared as starter.
Yeah, I don't know about 100% cleared, but they said he's coming back, and then same for James Conner. But that's why they were willing to give up Josh Dobbs.
Yeah.
And he was not supposed to play in this game.
He wasn't. They had actually said that he really didn't even really know the playbook. He was told to just go out there and really just play football. Take experience that that you've gathered and just, be a quarterback. And that's what he did. I mean, he went 20 for 30 for 158 yards with 2 TDs. That's pretty impressive considering you weren't supposed to be playing in that game.
And it was in the middle of the game because Jaren Hall, like I said, started, which I know I can't remember if he's an undrafted rookie or he was a late pick for them, but that's why they picked up Dobbs after what happened to Kirk Cousins, because you and I had talked and we thought that Jameis Winston was going to end up going to Minnesota.
It was rumored that he was going to be potentially getting picked up from Minnesota.
But I think it worked out in the long run for them, and it's just a bad look for the Falcons. I mean, and I know that, okay, they played against Levis, and he popped off on them, and then they play against Dobbs, someone who doesn't know the plays, like specifically towards the terminology the Vikings use. So they had to be very broad within the NFL. If you're going to use a broad play, it is like the giant sandwich from Jersey Mike's. Like, it's as large as it can possibly be.
Yeah.
It is a mouthful, and that's why they have mics for quarterbacks in the NFL.
Yeah.
So he had to verbiage all the way through, and some of the plays I know that's the play clock ran down to some of the stuff, and so they had to actually describe it to him, and he was just being an athlete.
Yeah, not to cut you off or anything, but this don't really, I guess, relate to the actual end game.
Mm-hmm.
But a little, I guess, fun fact with Dobbs is, he couldn't find his jersey or his player number or really him as a player at all with Arizona. I don't know, there was this viral clip that came up, I think maybe a month or two ago, about him putting in the machine because he was going to get, some jerseys of himself to his family.
Mm-hmm.
He wasn't in Arizona's database, considering your, quarterback, which to me I thought was pretty funny. Well, in the game at Minnesota, they actually had a whole section with 15 as Dobbs. To me, I thought that was actually pretty funny. I mean, considering...
Also, that just shows you the different respect given by an organization where Arizona kind of already had plans to, I guess, get rid of him if he's not even in the database.
Yeah.
And then Minnesota is cherishing him because they know what they can do with him as an athlete. And, maybe Kirk Cousins doesn't come back from this and he's their long-term answer. Or maybe Cousins trains him. I mean, it's not like Kirk Cousins just disappeared. He's still there helping.
But he is getting up in age, though, too.
Yeah.
I mean, Cousins has, been...
Him, Rodgers.
They've been around for a while,
Carr,
so,
Definitely Russell Wilson.
Yeah. They all kind of came in around that same era.
And that's the other thing, too. That's the other thing, too. If you look, it's not just him passing the ball. What did he do? Look at the leading rusher for them.
Yeah. I mean, that touchdown that he did run, I think it was a design pass play, but how fluent he made that. I mean, he went through his two check down reads and just saw it open and just took it. I mean,
well, and that's the other thing too is we'll talk about this when we go to the college stuff. It just the way he ran the ball, and normally you don't see it in the NFL unless it's Lamar, but even Lamar is still trying to stay in the pocket because he's trying to develop long term, just like Cam Newton tried, Vic tried. So it just the mobile quarterbacks are the era now, but it's really mobile to keep yourself alive in the pocket, if that makes sense. Like Tom Brady moved in the pocket very well. All the slower guys, Dan Marino, um, but it's not like Aaron Rodgers, Russell Wilson, Patrick Mahomes. Like those three guys aren't going to dust you, but their movement in the pocket makes a huge difference.
Mm-hmm.
And even if their movement out of the pocket, but not to run, but to pass.
Just point blank, their vision of the field. I mean, they can read a field so clear. And to me, I think that's what makes their movement in the pocket so efficient.
You know something ironic? You know who can't read a field?
Justin Fields. Or defense, no matter.
Yeah, they're right. So,
not to cut you off again.
Oh, you're good.
But we did get confirmed earlier today. ESPN did send out a report that Agent B will be starting going against Thursday against Carolina.
That's what we'll be talking about next, because that is this Thursday's game. All right.
Ahead a little bit.
Yeah, but that's fine. And I told people about this even like before the Cousins injury, but the Jefferson injury is there's not going to be a problem because of Hawkinson and Addison. I mean, out of all the rookie receivers,
Dude,
I think Jordan Addison.
Don't forget about Alexander Madison too.
You talking about the running back?
Yeah, I mean he had a pop off game. You know, his game did surprise a lot of people.
Well, I mean, he was a good compliment to Dalvin Cook, and I feel like they haven't used him enough this year. And maybe he just needs a year in that number one role.
Yeah.
But I mean, he's a good player. All right. Actually, let's look at the Falcons real quick before we move on.
All right.
I mean, I think Taylor Heineke is the answer, at least for this year. I don't know what it is about Desmond Ridder, but even when he played against Bama in that semifinal game in Cincinnati, he finally saw talent like the NFL. It's not Alabama's not the NFL, neither is Georgia. You can't compare a college team to NFL. I don't care what anyone says. An 0-17 NFL team can still be one of the best college teams because they're more seasons, and it's a lot different. Watching both of those in person, the speed is still completely different. But Taylor Heineke, when he was at Washington last year, I thought he was phenomenal. I mean, he didn't do anything like eye popping, but he did enough to win games. I mean, I think that they need to stick with him versus Desmond Ridder. And I can't remember if it's because of an injury or if they just chose to just bench him. Okay, that's what I thought.
They straight out benched him. I know he has been battling a wrist injury the past few games, but they did make that clear that it's pretty much nothing.
And then this, I know a lot of Falcon fans, especially because of where we live, talk about how they're frustrated with the amount of carries Bijan's getting. Like Algier carried it more than him for less yards, got a touchdown, but if you look overall, like we'll probably end up doing that. I don't know, maybe in 2 weeks we'll go to like week 12 or something, somewhere in there. We'll look at like total stats of like players and stuff, and just see like what the like Falcon fans complain about Bijan's workload he's getting versus, because I mean he's a rookie, so he should be able to tote the rock a little more, but he's also still a rookie.
And two, he was your big first round pick. So, I mean, you would
for them, yeah, for sure.
So, I mean, you expect, you're doing what you had to do to get him.
Now, if there's one thing, like fantasy advice for people, I mean, Kyle Pitts is Kyle Pitts, but Jonnu Smith, when they picked him up from the Titans, people didn't expect him to do what he's doing with them. I think other than like Kelsey and Hawkinson and Laporta, the rookie of the Lions, Detroit, I think he's actually the top tight end in fantasy. And then Kyle Pitts is like at 10th. These are two top 10 fantasy picks just from one team. They definitely passed them. I mean, their leading receiver is probably going to end up being Johnny. I mean, I know that what's his name? That's so bad I forgot. Drake London. He didn't play in this game. I know he was hurt, but the main thing also for the Falcons, they fumbled the ball. That's interceptions. They only fumbled it once, but I think was it the Tennessee game they fumbled like 3 times. So like turnovers have been a problem for them too. We'll just go quickly through these. Wow. This shocked me. I mean, I knew the Ravens were good. I didn't think their defense was that good, if that makes sense. 37-3. And didn't they blow somebody out the week before? Who they play? The Rams.
Yeah,
So the Rams have played awful back-to-back weeks.
Now the Rams also, I think Stafford played last week, but he did not play this week.
Okay.
Stafford was ruled out, so.
But you got to win on this one. I lost. Then you picked the Cardinals. I don't know why. Browns.
Take a shot.
Yeah, you know, it's. I mean, I did that with them. My shot was really the Giants. That was a mistake. Packers Rams. This was crazy. You're talking about the Raiders? Oh no, we were talking about that. The Raiders. Josh McDaniels got fired the week before.
He did.
And then this week was the opening game with the interim coach. And normally, and we need to find out like a record of this. Someone has to keep up with it. First games for interim coaches, what the record is in the NFL. Because I have a feeling there are more wins than losses.
Think so?
Yeah, because it's more motivating for the players. Yeah, I think it's a breath of fresh air. It's a different type of situation.
That's what my team needs.
All right. I'm going to let you talk about this game. The Bucks and Texans, because I agree with you. You said this was probably one of the top games.
I think it was.
Here, we'll go to the winning team first. We'll talk about winners first. Golly, man, that's
so we'll just go ahead and start with the opening stat that y'all see right here with C.J. Stroud. He is he's God gifted, man. This kid is one of those dime in a dozen that you gotta hold on to, man. For him to be a rookie against Tampa Bay, which does not have a bad defense at all, they do not. But for him to be a rookie, really honestly, to even attempt to throw 42 times, that's a lot, dude.
Here's the main thing. You look at scores by quarter. They had 29 points
in the second half.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, 42 times.
And look at running the ball.
That's
like, their main running back is Dameon Pierce. He didn't play, so that's why they literally did not run the ball hardly at all. But Noah Brown, Ohio State man, he's been with the Texans for forever, I think. He's not like a new Ohio State receiver, but Ohio State receivers are really good in the NFL. You got a lot of young guys, and you got older guys that prove that. Dalton Schultz. I had him on my fantasy team. I knew he was going to be a sneaky good thing. Popped off.
I actually am still. That is one that I'm surprised Dallas actually
got rid of. I don't understand
when I saw that report, I was like, that has to be something fake.
Well, and then this man right here, Tank Dell. Golly, man, he is so fast. I mean, obviously trying to compare. I think, did they say him? I'm trying to remember what game it was. I want to say it was this game, and it was Tank Dell that they talked about. He's like almost as fast as Tyreek. I know that there's a player on the Saints, Shaheed. He's like, but it's crazy how many players there are like that are so fast. Nico Collins is their main guy, and he was fourth in receiving yards. 3 guys had over 100 yards. 3 guys. I don't know the last time the Texans done that. It has to be with Deshaun Watson on the team. And my boy Mechie getting him a catch in there too. That's good because he's been having that fight with leukemia, so he hadn't been getting to play as much. Let's go to the losing team side because it's not like the Bucs played bad.
They did.
I mean, Baker had 9 incompletions.
I'm actually really impressed with Baker Mayfield this year.
I always knew like the competitive nature in him when he was at Oklahoma.
But it's just, dude, he's never had that spark with the NFL. He's had some, decent years, some, pretty above average years. Mm-hmm. But it's just he's never stepped that line. Anticipated from what we saw in college. This year I'm seeing that. I'm seeing that Oklahoma in him.
Mm-hmm. And I think it's just the low. Like sometimes it's college they want to say things because of transferring, but in the NFL sometimes you just need a breath of fresh air. You need a new location. You need a new management. Some things work differently. I mean, that's the other thing too. Like Rashad White, dude, he's a lot. I mean, like they don't ever get like he hardly gets over 100 yards, but he does exactly what they need. And he just sits there. Oh, here's 4 catches and 46 yards too.
Is he one of the? Isn't he one of the top 10 running backs for fantasy?
I want to say he's like number 9.
He's like right there, right?
Because obviously you've got McCaffrey, you've got Eckler.
McCaffrey's number 1. I'll put Eckler at 2.
And I can't remember the order. I'm not gonna look on my phone right now. But I mean, he's got to be in there. There's no way he's outside of like top 15. Let's see here. I mean, Mike Evans, and that was the other thing too. Props. I mean, there's 37 points that got scored. But the thing is, you're going, well, where'd the points get scored at? There's 2 touchdowns, and there's 2 touchdowns. That's 28 points. Yeah, 3 other field goals. So, and then the Texans, I mean, they have 5 scores. So, by Stroud, throw the ball alone.
And another stat that a lot of people, if you want to scroll down for me, that just shows, like, as like a young quarterback, utilizing what you have. As you can see, everybody participated. Mm-hmm. There was no, single-handedly one person doing everything.
Yeah, and the only thing that might stick out is there were 5 targets that didn't happen, weren't completed to Tank Dell. But other than that, that's the thing. Every completion or every target to Noah Brown was completed. Dalton Schultz only missed 1, and I think the fumble counts for that, maybe
2.
Not. So I mean, that kind of stuff plays in.
It does, and then things like that, can throw off a defense as well. They ain't having to worry about, correct me too if I'm wrong, because you are, on the defensive side, you being a defensive coach. As far as, when you're, going against an offense that is spreading the ball out like that, I mean, would it not be a little bit more difficult to, like, not knowing who's going to get the ball,
It's definitely more difficult whenever you can't go, all right, we got to cover this receiver and make sure they don't run the ball. It's a lot easier to stop a running back and then one receiver. If you've got someone running the ball enough, which they didn't even really run the ball, but then you've got your 2 best guys, like say Nico Collins is lined up on the right side, and he's got Tank Dell next to him, but then you've got your tight end on this side with Noah Brown, and these 2 are the ones that you told me that these 2 got the most yards and catches. That's what I'm talking about. That's hard to do. Like, your best bet is keep everything underneath, or you got to take a chance and go man.
And with that speed, it's...
Well, and then Stroud's pocket presence already. I mean, the one thing I can say is they have a fantastic head coach in his first year, and the changes they made to the offensive line.
Yeah. And then
they made things that the Panthers didn't do and that the Colts didn't do. And the Colts already had a good O-line, but if their O-line was better in pass protection, Anthony Richardson probably wouldn't have gotten hurt.
Click on that game for me again, real quick, if you don't mind.
This one?
Yeah. I just want to pull up the stats one more time.
Oh, it's not working.
You got to right click.
Oh no, I left clicked.
Let's scroll down. Go to the Texans real quick. Let's see. Do they show the field goal breakdown? I want to talk about the
drives.
No, I want to talk about the I forgot his name. That's why I was wanting to pull up the stat. The running back that made the field goal during the Texans game, because their field goal kicker had gotten hurt.
It's right here.
Yes. We'll call him Dare.
It's Dare Ogunbowale.
That's pretty impressive, dude.
There you go.
I mean, imagine that pressure. Knowing that you're a running back.
Look at that. That's a man that's happy.
Yeah. I believe it was a 31 yard?
Maybe.
I think a 31, 32 yard, does it?
Nope, these are all rushing stats for him.
Okay,
so it's not going to show it.
Well, that's one event that I did want to mention, though, in that game. I mean, that's pretty impressive.
Good pull. Man. I completely forgot about that. And it was later in the game, correct?
It was. I think that's actually what gave them 39, if I'm not mistaken. That's why, they were so... I just want to make sure I'm right before...
Oh, I forgot they got Camarda, their punter from Georgia. right there.
29-yard.
But then after that, it's punt, touchdown, fumble. And I'm sure, did they go for this at all? Or they just scored 10, 10? No, they didn't have it. After that, there was no other opportunity to potentially make him have to kick again. But that's
But for him
very,
to go out
very
there and
impressive. I haven't seen the last non-kicker to actually kick a field goal I remember is Chad Ochocinco.
Yeah.
And that was just because they were winning so much that he went out there and kicked. All right. Let's we maybe do one more game. If not, we can just, I know there's 2 big games at the bottom, but we can kind of quickly go over them. Commanders 20, Patriots 17. We both picked the Pats, lost. That's very, to see them at 2-7 is very frustrating. And now people are saying Belichick's on the hot seat.
I don't believe that, man.
I mean, if they do, that he's just going to pull a Sean Payton and go somewhere that he knows that he can work.
Would he think he'll bring Brady out of retirement?
No. Bears, Saints.
Actually, I do want to mention one thing.
Okay.
With that game.
This one?
No, the Saints and Bears
your
game.
home body game.
There was a record broken in that game.
How many times the Bears lose?
No, that record got broke. We actually broke that streak, sir.
Oh, okay.
But
right.
No, with Tyson Hill.
Oh, Taysom Hill. Oh,
yeah.
Throwing the ball, running the ball, and catching the ball. Mm-hmm. Which he is a fantasy cheat code. He's by far, if you're going to tell me, if I had to pick one singular player as my favorite player in the NFL, it is him. And it has been him for a while because at the time he was just a quarterback as a package guy, could throw, could run, and now he has done what Tebow was allegedly supposed to do, and he is showing you they got a package for him to run. They use it to now trick play, almost in a sense, where he can throw the ball because he can still throw.
And his route running is actually really good.
I think that's what's delayed them putting him actually at tight end is they had to work his route running, and that was the main thing. Because he has natural born speed. Yeah. He's a lot faster than you think until you watch the film.
He's such a threat, man. I mean, when he's in there now, you just don't know, is he going to run? Majority of the time, it is a run. Mm-hmm. But you still can't stop it. He
had a deep ball to Shaheed in one of the games.
He threw a 25-yard pass to Juan Johnson.
Oh, yeah.
I believe that was his first touchdown pass of the year.
Juan Johnson?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And it was like, a 20... I want to say a 25, 28-yard pass.
Yeah. All right. Colts 27, Panthers 13. They've got to add a few more pieces before they can get it going. Colts are starting to pick some pace back up. And then whenever we do the stat break in like 2 to 3 weeks, we'll also look at standings. And then you and I will start forming who we think are going to make the playoffs.
All right.
Giants 6, Raiders 30. Like I said, it's just first game for interim head coach. We need to pull that stat up and see.
Daniels, is it confirmed ACL?
Daniel Jones?
Yeah.
I don't know about confirmed, but I'm pretty sure they said it was his ACL. Okay. But who's their backup? Who played?
I couldn't even tell you.
Did he finish the game? That's what I want to remember.
I think it happened. I want to say it happened like in the third quarter.
Yeah. That's right. It was Tommy DeVito.
Yeah, it happened pretty early.
Which, that's another thing, too. They were getting beat. What was the game last week? They got beat bad enough that they took him out. Yeah, or he got hurt again. And he was questionable. Came back in this game, got hurt again. Because isn't Tyrod still their backup? Tyrod Taylor? Because I could have swore he played in the last few games. Because Daniel Jones got hurt, and then Tyrod went in, got hurt, and then DeVito took over, and they did not throw the ball hardly at all. I'm pretty sure they did not throw the ball hardly at all when he went in. He threw the ball like 3 times, and I think their last completed pass they said was late in the second quarter. So the whole second half they did not complete a pass. I mean, obviously they did here as he took over again, but it's tough. If you're a Giants fan, it's tough.
I know the feeling.
All right.
We got the same record.
Cowboys, Eagles. Fantastic game. Cowboys almost came back on this. We can quickly just look at stats. We won't go in super detail like we did the first few games. I just felt like we definitely need to highlight that Vikings-Falcons game and the Miami Chiefs game. I mean, Dak didn't play awful.
He didn't.
Tony Pollard, he hasn't been getting it going. But also, I don't think in this game in particular they did him any justice, especially they played behind. But God, CeeDee Lamb complained about his touches, and the last 3 weeks he has almost put up. I mean, this game he did more, but like A.J. Brown type of games. Mm-hmm. And then, I mean, Cowboys got rid of Schultz, but Jake Ferguson, tight end, 7 catches, 91 yards, tutty. So
pretty impressive for a tight end.
Jalen Tolbert, Michael Gallup's kind of fallen off, man. I kind of feel bad. That's a Georgia boy. He played he played football in Marte.
He didn't really do too much last year, though, either.
I mean, he did enough. He was a good third piece to Amari, and then CeeDee Lamb was the second. Mm-hmm. But, like, the main thing for me is, like, Brandon Cooks has been the second choice for them this year, and he got held to... They had 2 targets and 1 catch.
He came from Houston, right? Cooks.
Yeah, but Cooks has been at, like, 7 or 8 different teams now.
I was talking about...
Everyone remembers
the last team he was with.
Yes.
Wasn't it Houston?
Yeah. He had a moment with New England for a little bit, and
yeah.
then the main place that people remember him is New Orleans. I mean, like, this is winning teams. If you notice, a lot of these teams, because the defense have played good enough and the offense is just efficient, that like Jalen didn't. You look at the different. You look at both those stats alone. But a lot of times, the more attempts you have as a quarterback, it means you're playing from behind. I mean, 6 incompletions, over 200, 2 tutties. Running game's just enough of what they need. Mm. I mean, they have more backs, but they haven't been using them. See, like CeeDee Lamb did everything he could just to bring them back in the game. But A.J. Brown still did his thing. Devontae Smith still did his thing. Goddard. And, I mean, Swift just with 2 catches. Like, this just doesn't, like, it doesn't jump out at you. But the thing is they're 8-1. It's crazy. And it's a good thing. And they're going into, and that's the thing, too, is the Kelsey games coming up. They're both off this next week, the Chiefs and the Eagles. They both get a bye, and then they have to play each other next week. So I think after that week's when we'll do our breakdown of basically like standings. Bills, Bengals. This is what I wanted to show you. We'll look at the stats real quick if we want, but I got to show you this. Touchdown, 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 punt, punt, interception, punt, punt, touchdown, end of the half. So it's basically 21-7. Field goal, punt, punt, Trevor Noah run down, fumble, field goal, touchdown. That's the end of the game. They did a touchback, but there were a few things in this game. There was a clip where it just, it's not that it was necessarily lopsided, like just officiating. Just the inconsistencies were definitely pulling away from Buffalo and towards Cincinnati. I'm not complaining. We both picked Cincinnati to win this game. That's the thing. I mean, like, Mixon didn't hardly have any carries, but a touchdown is all that matters. Helps me in fantasy. Burrow's finally back to where he needs to be. Here's the thing. Chase was held 4 catches, 41 yards off 8 targets. Boy, T. Higgins, though, popped off. And I mean, even Tyler Boyd did good enough, too. Where they beat Buffalo, and Jamar Chase didn't have over 50 yards. Yeah. Like, that's the main thing about, I think, this season has been good enough defenses. Normally in the regular season, you see, like, kind of what Miami's been doing. Like, overpowered offenses. Your defense just does enough. And that's where college has kind of turned into. You see, it always has, like, a full rotation effect. Where NFL, it was high offense, and then college was still doing, like, defensive games. Mm-hmm. And then offenses in college got, like, really good and a step ahead of defenses. And then now the NFL's like, it's like turned a clock where then now it's like these are defensive games that are like winning everything. And then the offenses are just doing enough where they're spreading the ball around versus I'm just going to force my best guy to make the plays and you're not going to stop him. So, here's the Bills. I mean, every single game, I feel like Josh Allen in the last 3 years has been the leading rusher of their team.
He's such a big dude to tackle, man.
He is. I mean, literally, they compare him to Cam Newton, but he's faster.
And he does not slide.
Nope.
He lowers his shoulder.
I give him about 2 more years, and he's going to start sliding because it's going to start adding I told people about this too. Dawson Knox getting hurt is the best thing for this rookie from Ole Miss. Because, I mean, they both were basically splitting time at tight end, or they would do a lot of two tight end formations, and that was a problem because they're both good. But Dalton Kincaid, man. I mean, Stephon Diggs is still doing his thing, but, you know, your tight ends are going to get more receptions for less yards just because there are a lot of spots in between the backers,
Then a lot of
a little flats.
Too.
Yep, exactly. All right, and then the last game, Chargers-Jets. We didn't want to bet against our boy Michael, but we just had a feeling they weren't going to be able to stop Eckler, and that was the case. And the main thing is just the Jets' offense can do just enough. But the main thing about it was whenever they played the Giants last week and they won 13-10 in overtime, and they were really down in that game. It was 10-7, and then Greg the Leg kicks the tying field goal, and then the defense makes a stop, and then they kick the game-winning field goal in overtime. But I mean, like, Herbert didn't do anything. I mean, like, he had 30 attempts, but like, see the numbers.
I mean, even if you look at the
it doesn't
numbers,
even pop out.
I mean, of course, you know the 2 TDs, but Eckler's numbers besides that wasn't like really too impressive.
I mean, like, even here, 2 catches, 23.
I mean, he had the 2 touchdowns. Don't get me wrong.
This is the crazy thing for me. It's just Keenan Allen being able to get that, but I mean, none of the rest of these guys. It was a defensive game.
It was.
Which I have no problem watching games like this, especially when it's our bye. I'm gonna look at them right here. I mean, it's not Zach Wilson didn't really make any crazy mistakes. It's just that they don't have the protection.
I am noticing a little pattern though with the games that we have. There's almost every quarterback has had over 40, like from the losing team.
I'm telling you, it's the thing. That is a thing that I've noticed the most this year. Because I mean, of course, you're going to pass the ball when you're down, but it is like a huge amount. Like you have the winning quarterback having like not even 30 attempts.
But then you got the losing opponent
having 40, almost 50 attempts.
I mean, 49. That's crazy.
Breece Hall. I mean, and then that's the thing. Some teams are like, I'm just willing to completely give up the run. Garrett Wilson, Tyler Conklin. I mean, like, look at this. I mean, even Michael Carter from North Carolina, the running back. Because, I mean, look, he didn't even run the ball. He just caught the ball because he's their best receiving back. Even Jeremy Ruckert, the one from Ohio State. And then that's the other thing, too. 3 fumbles. 2 of them are lost. So, there were
turnovers, man.
Yeah.
Turnovers will kill you.
Look who was second in tackles for the team.
Our boy.
That's our boy. That's our boy right here, guys. Look at that. Old Duke. I forget he's still a baby. But he's really not. They're giving that boy some love. I hope he's 5'10". We love you, Michael. He probably will never see this. If I text him and I tell him that we have a podcast, he'll end up watching it and he'll be like, don't talk about my height. So. Alright. Before we go into, because I don't want to see all the other games, we just talk about it. We know what the Thursday night game is. We'll do our predictions. You know the deal. I'll write it down. Thursday nights, we like to be specific on scores and the winners. And then Sunday and Monday, we just pick who we won. We'll look at the record, okay?
Sounds good.
So I'm just going to go ahead and flip us over here.
I'm dreading Thursday.
All right. Who we picking? Who we picking?
The Bears.
You going with the Bears?
We better win that game, dude. I ain't taking nothing away from Carolina. You know, but
you know who I'm going with?
Carolina. Gotta support your boy Young. Nah, I get that. Oh, Agent B, you think he's gonna make his?
I'm going with Agent B. I'm going with Chicago as well.
All right.
And I love Bryce, but he doesn't have everything there for him yet. They need offensive line. They need somebody to help Spider Burns from Florida State and pass rushing. I know they have Derek Brown in the middle from Auburn, but they need another pass rusher, probably more likely a lot more of a linebacker guy instead of being a DN. Mm-hmm. And then they definitely need help in the secondary. And then offensive line. Because, I mean, if they fix offensive line, I really don't think it matters who's at receiver. Because
cause it's also been
the receivers that he has in the NFL right now are better than the receivers he had at Bama last year.
Yeah. And two, I mean, Sanders. I mean, he's such a good back, dude. But he's also a back that has to be given, to me, that line. Like how he was at Philly.
Well, yeah,
I mean, he had a monster of a line, and he was arguably one of the best backs in the league.
And not even that. It's also Philly had 4 running backs and then Jalen Hurts. So you would rotate 5 guys, but he was still the main featured back on the team. That's why Miles Sanders is not even the best back on their team. It's Chuba Hubbard. But the biggest thing for me is that made me debate on going back and forth between this is both the defenses aren't really that good. The offense aren't. There's some inconsistencies, but I think the offenses will be able to put up more points. We haven't done our scores yet, but the Panthers are going to be able to run the ball. You guys can't stop the run. But also, I think Foreman's going to pop off too, because they can't stop the run either.
There is I know we gotta make this quick, so I'll make it pretty quick. There is some rumors being announced now about the Bears going further into their running back core. They're actually anticipating, man, that Herbert will no longer be a Bear next year. That they're going to rely on Foreman, Johnson, this new kid that they just got, Evans, and then you still have Homer, which he's more of a
he had a bigger role when he was at Seattle.
Yeah, well, he's more of our specialty guy.
Yeah.
You see him on all the special teams. There's a few times you see him in the backfield. He did battle through some injury this year. But I would hate to see my boy Herbert gone, man. They're saying it will free up a lot of salary hold in the back position.
Y'all did that with David Montgomery, and look how he turned out with the Lions.
I'm glad
the injuries.
Yeah.
Props to him, kind of thing. Yeah.
I mean, 'cause I didn't. There's no hate. With Montgomery.
What about Chase Claypool? I couldn't even say it with a straight face. I'm sorry. What's your
the new tight end?
No, what I said Chase Claypool.
I know.
Oh yeah, with Miami. Yeah. Which Miami ain't done too hot since they've got him. He's got some kind of curse. What's your score prediction? Mine's 32-29. Bears.
Think it's gonna be that high?
I just told you how the defenses are.
Yes, but none of them have an offense either.
But in the NFL, it typically sways more towards the offense.
I don't think it's gonna be that high, man.
All right, you said that last time about what game was it? And I was closer than you.
Like 3 points.
Well, still closer than you.
Okay, I'm gonna say it's gonna be like I'm gonna go with a
Oh, the Bama game.
A 17. I think it's gonna be a 17-14.
Oh my gosh.
17-10.
I love games. Well, you gotta tell me 10 or 14.
We're gonna go 14. 17-14.
All right, I said 32-29 Bears. He says 17-14. So 2 totally different kind of games. I mean, your Bama prediction was not bad. I can't remember what you said. We didn't write it down. But I know you said 35-28.
Yeah, because I said it was going to be a field goalless game.
And it was. Because Will Reichard missed 2, and then LSU's kicker missed 1. Will Reichard doesn't
matter.
He hasn't missed a field goal since.
It doesn't matter.
I know. But okay, that's a good prediction. But but he hadn't missed a field goal since the loss to Tennessee, and he missed 2 in that game. So I know he's not missing it. He's going to play in the NFL. I can't remember what mine was. I think it was like 32-30.
It was somewhere around there, yeah.
So you had dead on what LSU had, but then I had.
No,
your score was technically closer then. So
I actually didn't expect y'all to put up as many. Y'all won 42, right?
Mm-hmm. I expected us to put up. That's why I put 32-30 because their defense was not good. Which I guess we roll right into it because we're gonna skip over the debate. I mean, it's up to you if we want to do it or not. Just because we kind of rolling through this. I just want to get to the trivia.
Okay.
After we do the college football. So, just quick look. College football. We saw some of these already. This game had just finished up. They went like Washington beat USC. All that talk. I mean, like the Caleb Williams thing. We could talk about that as a debate. Like he's crying. Like all right.
It really did.
You could be passionate, but it comes across as whining at some point, and
I mean,
especially
too,
with
then,
the statements he's made.
Yes, exactly. Like, especially, a lot of them ain't even from him, dude. A lot of them is from his dad, which is his so-called agent. I mean, dude, just...
I mean, like, it's a back-and-forth game. It's 42-42 before going into the fourth, but his dad the comments that he's made, and also through his dad, reminds me a lot of, I can't remember the father, but the Ball family, Lonzo Ball, Lamar Ball, all those, LiAngelo Ball.
Because it's never really from the players.
Yeah.
Like, the Ball brothers never really taught like that.
No. That makes me happy. We got to play Kentucky this next week. This was crazy. And then we didn't really get to talk enough about it whenever you said it. You just wanted to bring up how it was the last battle at Bedlam.
Yeah, because they're moving to SEC, right?
Moving to SEC. And so Mike Gundy, like, straight up, I mean, that was his main message to his team even before the season even started. He goes, if you're just going to leave and after this rivalry, then it's no longer a thing. Because Oklahoma was like, well, we could still play as out of conference. And then he goes, no.
Yeah.
This was a crazy game. I think we kind of touched up with a bunch of these. You like that one. Oh, wait, no, you don't. This one, they almost came back and won. Oh, you almost had it. But, like, look. 1-5 in conference. Like, you're basically being equated to Vanderbilt. I'm sorry. Does that make sense? That you're the Vanderbilt of the Pac-12. Mm-hmm. That's even more of a kick in the nuts. Then, granted, the Pac-12 has played a lot better this year. They got a lot more competitive teams. I can't wait to do, like, bowl game. That's going to be fun when we go to do bowl game predictions. Especially because I do that with people and, like put money, competitiveness, and then I have, like, a whole software that I keep up with that I can keep up with the records. Predictions for college football. Joe went 3-1. I went 4-0, and the game that mattered was this one right here. And the reason why I knew this would happen is just solely on this. They lose, so the Mississippi State by 7, okay. Lost to Washington. Washington's top 5 team by 7. Lose to USC by 2. Beat Washington State, who is ranked over them. Killed them. I mean, absolutely killed them. 44-6. Beat Oregon State by 3. At this point, I was like, all right, yeah, they're beating UCLA. They're going to probably win every game. I don't know if they'll beat Utah, even though Utah's starting quarterback has basically been out this whole season.
Utah's defense is a very strong player.
Yeah, they've always been, but at the same time, 27-10, their defense got it done too.
Yeah.
Kansas keeping up with that shouldn't be that is close, but I mean it's more. This is a out of state rivalry more than people think. That one was crazy to me, but and them struggling.
I don't think that should have been as close.
This one?
Yeah.
No, for sure. All right.
We got next.
Got some trivia.
All
right. You wanted to go first? I know you said you were excited about the trivia. You want me to go first?
We're just actually going to run Cole's trivia tonight. I got a special trivia for Saturday coming up. So.
You want to make it first? I like mixing the order. We got to figure this thing out. This is only episode 3. So
we go with the flow.
We can go jump through a debate or trivia or whatever.
We can go ahead and run some trivia since you already had it set up.
All right. Let me get to it because I actually wrote it down in notes.
All right. So we're not doing debate tonight. So we're going to run trivia
unless you want to do it after this. Because we're just genuinely talking. I'll end up cutting this out because I'm typing on the phone too much. Yes or no?
Nah, we won't worry about it.
Okay, hold on.
Hey, you still have that?
Have what?
Damn.
You remember when I first took it home?
I threw mine away.
You knew I could do that. Oh God, why can't I remember my own thing? Just give me a minute.
I guess since we're just talking, I don't want to waste y'all's time. I do have a decision for y'all to make.
This is disc golf related.
Yes.
So I'll add this back in. All right. Reset. Instead of you doing your, since he's just busy, blah, 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 I'll just cut to while you're doing it. All right, ready, go.
So while you're doing that, Cole, I actually do have a a question here. This is disc golf related. As you can see, we got some of our displays here right now.
Don't touch my bag.
The female bag, Need help deciding which Terra I should be purchasing. I don't know if y'all can see that. There we go.
Right there.
Yeah. Go with a special edition right here, or just a casual design. Just thought I'll mention that. Ask a question. Got it yet? God dang. Are you ready?
No.
You can't find it?
Dude. God. All right. It's not that I couldn't find it. I had to make sure I had it because they wiped it away. All right. Here's the trivia.
Now that we're back.
Here's the trivia. Name the 8 current NFL quarterbacks that have played in a Super Bowl.
All right, so you got Big Pat.
Okay, Mahomes, that's 1.
We'll go with Jalen Hurts.
Okay, that's 2.
We are going to go with Burrow.
Okay, that's 3.
All right. Josh Allen never made it. Did he?
Josh Allen is not on the list.
Yeah, I was going to say, they always came up short.
Geico makes car insurance as easy as loving Parmesan.
I don't know why, but that scared me.
All right.
All right.
You got Mahomes, Hurts, and Burrow.
All right. You said 8?
Yeah, there's 8.
That's crazy. Let's go with. There's nobody from the NFC North. Nobody from the Bears, of course.
Nobody from the NFC North?
Oh yeah, Jared Goff.
Jared Goff.
Yeah, Jared Goff. Yeah, Jared Goff. All right, so I got 4 of the 8.
Yep.
Okay, let's go with 2-0. Purdy, no. Jimmy Garoppolo, no. But yes.
The first Chiefs Super Bowl win for Patrick Mahomes was against the 49ers.
It
Garoppolo.
was Garoppolo.
So Garoppolo, that's 5.
Okay, so Garoppolo was the quarterback at the time with them. All right, so Garoppolo. So we got 5 right there. Let's go with. I hate the memory trivia, cause my memory sucks unless it's that, the year of, or if it's team history.
Yeah, like your Bears.
Yeah. Let's go with. I'm missing 3.
Yep.
I'm trying to think of all
Just think about the Super Bowls and go back. You just need to keep going back. It was the Chiefs Eagles last year. You already got those quarterbacks.
The Rams. Who was the Rams quarterback? Matt Stafford.
Okay, Stafford.
All right.
That's 6.
I already did the 49ers one. Eagles. Cincinnati. You said they're still in the NFL, right?
Yep.
So I'm missing 2.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to ask for 1 hint.
You got to think older for both of these guys.
Before the Mahomes and...
Yep.
Oh, wow. Cousins?
No. But you're on the right track of age.
Rodgers?
Aaron Rodgers.
Oh, so we're going... Oh, yeah, that is true, because he did have that one Super Bowl that he won, actually. So I need 1 more.
Yep, 1 more.
So I think of some old guns. I feel like we mentioned one earlier, too.
We did.
Because we were talking about the Cousins, Rodgers.
Yep, and I even said this quarterback's name.
Yeah, I know. That's what makes the trivia so fun.
Especially when we brought up a topic
that was already part of it.
Still remember.
My memory, man. Let me go with. I need to go look at all the teams right here. Nope. Ah, bastard. Oh.
He's trying to cheat. I'm not gonna let him cheat. You want a hint?
Yeah.
All right.
The old guy.
All right. Same thing as Rodgers, right? He went from NFC to AFC. So did this quarterback. So he went from an NFC team that he won a Super Bowl with, and now he's on an AFC team.
He plays for the AFC now, but he was NFC.
Yep. He won a Super Bowl on an NFC team.
That had to be well before. I mean, that had to be around that time Rodgers won.
It was after.
Yeah. Not too far after that, right? No? Okay.
A little bit after.
Let me go with... I always get stuck on that one. The same thing with that jersey thing, the one.
You know, well, at least you know this one's not Jordan Love. And you already got the Aaron Rodgers one.
Yeah. This one has to be stumped right now.
You need another hint?
What team do they play for now?
I give it away.
Ah. Oh. They're relevant now?
What do you mean by relevant? Like, they're still a starting quarterback?
Yeah.
Yes. They had an impressive win 2 weeks ago.
Ah.
Come on. How did you
Sierra. Russell Wilson. I forgot about
Bronco Nation, let's ride.
I forgot he won.
Yeah. He should have won too if they'd have just handed the ball to Beast Mode.
Yeah.
That's a
And you know what? I was gonna say him earlier, but I remembered that Super Bowl. That's the one I was thinking of, and I was like, they lost.
They lost. No, he won. He won one. Do you remember what team he played when he won?
Seattle.
No, not what team he played for. Who he played against.
Oh.
He lost against Tom Brady, but who did he play against when he won?
Who did he play? I don't remember that Super Bowl,
He played against the Broncos.
man. Plot twist. Because he beat Peyton, right?
Yep.
I was a nice little trivia though. That was tricky.
I
Because
I figured you like that one.
It did some throwback, but it also did some like
Recent,
yeah,
And you figured all the recent ones really good. Now, the golf one almost got you, and Garoppolo.
yeah.
That's crazy to think about.
Because didn't Garoppolo he just got benched, didn't he?
In that game? Are you talking about with the Raiders?
Yeah,
Yeah.
they benched him.
And Aiden O'Connell, the rookie, starts over him now. I don't know if it's full time, but it's
Well, I
just,
know
you know,
when we played them a couple weeks ago, Garoppolo was hurt at that time.
allegedly. I can't remember. I just know that they
I mean, no need to look it up. It's a topic we can discuss later. No? Okay.
I mean, I can just cut it out. You know, ain't no big
Yeah.
deal. Yeah, man. You know. Let's see.
Oh, before we end this, the podcast though, there is some news though. There was a recent signing in the baseball world.
Oh, that's right. I remember.
Ron Washington from the Braves had signed with the Angels.
Does that mean Ohtani's going to stay? I doubt it.
I don't know.
That's going to be a big topic.
But I
can't wait to talk with my uncle about that for our podcast.
I mean, it's just because I think you were, was it you that was talking about it earlier that he had actually resigned in 2014
He resigned from
and
the
then
Rangers in
came
2014.
back with the Braves in
Yep.
2017.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
But it was pretty interesting. He's up there in age too.
Yeah,
man.
it wasn't Garoppolo.
It was O'Connor. Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, that was just some news I would like to share. You know, it did happen pretty recently, within the past few hours. So, guess that's pretty much it for us, right?
Yep.
No?
That is episode 3 of Let's Talk Sports. I'm Cole.
I'm Joe.
And we are signing out.